All right. Okay. I think that's a nice way to start. Okay. So, hello. I'm Dux, and I'm here with JCV and BronyMike and ForeverfreeBrony, and I'm going to be interviewing BronyMike about his days in the fandom because it's been a long time that we've last heard from him, but he's making something of a comeback, and that's why we're here today. I'd love to hear about everything that he has to say about stuff that has happened and stuff that's going to happen in the future. So, yes, let's get right into it. First question, and probably the most important one for anyone in the Brony fandom. Who is your favorite pony?
Yeah. So that's always a good question. For me, it's Pinkie Pie. She's a lot of fun. I feel like the first few seasons got her better than some of the later seasons. She was always this sort of oddball, quirky, fun character, but a couple of the later writers kind of made her into like this more of an attention hog, I think.
Yeah, she also knew her limits, right? Like in Griffin the Brush-Off, she knew when the joke
when to back
funny.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's always been a lot of fun.
I figured that she would be your favorite pony, seeing that she's also your profile picture still, right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, is that episode 1 where the or
yeah, that's I think the show is from Giggle at the Ghost.
I think it's the
I think it was the second part of the premiere.
Exactly.
Where they're actually in the Everfree Forest and
that's also
the first part's all like Twilight coming to town and then Nightmare Moon taking over.
And that's also been your picture since forever, I believe. You don't ever changed it.
Yeah, there's not really a reason for that. I probably could go for something that's a little bit like more specific to the channel. I've been considering I don't know, getting into art here and there, but I've never really put much time into it. But maybe I could do some sort of a redraw of that frame and then put that up as at least something more unique.
That'd be cool.
I think it's a cool profile picture, but maybe doing it like your OC or whatever, doing the same pose would also be fun. Okay, let's move on. So, going back to the very start, how did you first come into contact with ponies, and what made you decide to watch the show?
So, it's a bit long-winded. I was fresh out of high school, 2000... whatever the year the show started airing. I was
started 2010, but that was like at the tail end.
Yeah. I was half a semester into university, and I was watching a bunch of videos on that guy with the glasses, which just different reviewers and stuff. And since then some stuff's come out. It's not that great of a site to produce for, but at the time it's had a lot of entertaining personalities, and there was some video just called Pinkie Pie in 5 seconds by a creator named CR, I think, and in retrospect probably not even that great of a video. It was just a clip of the show. I think it was from Dragon Shy Pinkie opening an envelope or something, but it seemed entertaining. It seemed well animated, and browsing through the internet I just kept seeing these pony characters pop up. So I decided, I don't know, I'm on the lookout for a new cartoon to watch. Might as well give it a shot.
And you went straight into it.
Yeah, I decided to check it out after I kept seeing these things. I like cartoons. I especially like musicals, and so the show was good. It had some fun animation. It had more engaging story beats than I expected. I never knew much about My Little Pony. Before watching it, I always thought it was just, okay, oh no, my friends won't go to the mall with me, which I think is more Generation 2 and 3 kind of stuff. But I didn't realize that the original show had dragons and sorcerers and all sorts of wild stuff in it. But then I watched it. It had all this engaging high fantasy sort of stuff, and then what really drew me in was when I got to Winter Wrap Up, and just out of the blue it blasts into this big sort of stage musical segment with these spotlights and everything, and that's what drew me in and made me realize, okay, this is a fun show. It's worth sticking around with.
Do you remember what your first episode was that you watched? Did you just watch from the start, or go to whatever was the most recent episode at the time?
Now, anytime I watch a show, I always start from the beginning. I always try and give it the full chronological experience that you would get if you were tuning in with it live.
I respect that.
So yeah, so I went back, watched the first episode. I think the most recent one was the one where Pinky's tail was twitching, and Twilight was trying to follow her around. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Yeah, so that was the one. That was when I joined the fandom, started watching the show, and then I started reading Equestria Daily stuff. Started joining a couple of chat rooms and stuff. There was, I think it was called Tiny Chat, was a video conference call sort of thing that some pony groups were in, and I was just on there hanging out between classes, and it spread from there.
Ah, very cool. Okay. So next question: what kind of conventions did you go to, and do you have any particular memories of them?
So I've been to a few over the years, mostly ones that I was performing at. Everfree Northwest, a couple of BronyCons, a few BronyCans, which was the Vancouver one. A lot of good memories. I met a lot of other musicians in the fandom. Just a lot of fun, I don't know, moments of hanging out with everybody. It was great being backstage. It was cool being a semi-horse famous, semi-celebrity for a brief period there. It's always flattering to like sign stuff. I met, it was just this. It's such a good creative community, the Brony fandom. Where people can get together and collaborate at all skill levels and all different types of media. And so there were people doing like glass etchings and wood cuts and stuff. There was a guy who would just make laser animations for a while, and we hang out for one of the conventions. Let's see if I got any notes here. At a lot of those cons, I found a website where you can buy bulk kazoos. It was these really cheap, lousy plastic ones, but I would buy like 13 bags of the things, because I think they had a minimum purchase requirement. It was some bulk warehouse thing. So I came to these things with like 400 kazoos and would just hand them out. A couple of times I just kind of flung into the crowd, dropped them off at a table,
so
and then I come back like an hour later.
You're the one responsible. Oh my god.
Oh, 100%. It was always me.
Can I get some context? For Everfree Brony, what's this about?
There was a time at Everfree Northwest, I believe. I believe now. I know. I think now I think I know the source. there was just a bunch of kazoos hanging around, and everybody had them at Everfree Northwest one year.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Chaos.
So annoying. Oh, everywhere. But it was still a wholesome environment, but my ears were bleeding at the end. Gosh.
I think the following year there was some sort of theme at BronyCan where the gimmick was that changelings had taken over the convention or something, was sort of their marketing gimmick, and so I had inadvertently introduced, made that more immersive by having a constant background buzzing sound of like flies.
That's funny.
And so you also performed there, right, at one of those conventions?
I've been at a few of them. Usually kind of an opening act, warm up the crowd with some silly antics thing. But I got to collaborate with a few people. I had a cover of the song Rainbow Factory, which was just me doing weird vocal instrumental versions of a bunch of the the general melody of the song, I guess. And for the percussion, I had just had these plastic tubes of M&M's minis, and I realized one day that you can just kind of pop them open, and it's kind of a percussion sound. And so I had like Eurobeat Brony, and I think the Living Tombstone up there on stage with me, just popping these stupid little things. People much more talented and famous than I am, who went on to greater heights. Just participating, but it was just a fun way to get everybody warmed up, joining in on these zany kind of opener songs.
Oh, that's super funny. I wonder if there's any recordings of that.
I think most of those conventions have recordings of the concerts. One of them was called Pony Stock. Forget what the other one. Brony Palooza was another one of them.
Yeah.
All these conventions had their own names for their concert segments.
Yeah, Pony Stock 2013 actually has a really, really a pretty high quality recording of the concert.
Nice.
So you should be able to find that one.
I'll definitely check it out.
That's the one where I saw you, I believe.
Oh yeah, and it's all zany stuff. Looking back, it's a little bit, I had a couple of slip ups and stuff, but I think the crowd just enjoyed the antics.
Everyone is in there for the fun, right?
Yeah,
that's the most important part.
This is a bit of a tangent, but there was one year where an attendee had just a bunch of I think DVD cases with CDs that he burned of Final Fantasy music that he was handing out to people. For it's sort of out of place, but hey, you don't turn down some good Final Fantasy music. But on the back, printed on the back side of this DVD case that they were handing out, was a giant zoom in of the face of Final Fantasy composer Nobuo Uematsu. And so we would just leave, the musicians were passing these things around and like leaving them up in each other's rooms and waking up and being like, whoa, whose face is like they just like see a face in the dark in the corner of the room. And it was this CD that this attendee had printed. So that was a lot of fun.
That's a Brony convention thing to do.
It was great.
As a bro.
Yeah, and then me and my buddy Ian, aka Saxophone Pony at the time, would just walk around the convention, playing songs, singing stuff. I'd be on the kazoo accompanying whatever songs we would play. Fun, or the what was it? The Parasprite polka song.
It's a name I haven't heard in a while. Sax Brony.
Oh, he was great. I don't know what he's up to these days.
Yeah.
Okay, so then for your own creations, what inspired you to make pony stuff in general, videos, songs, etc.?
Yeah, so I wasn't sure when to bring up that whole part of the history. Like I said, I was in university in the early days. I was chilling out before class and chatting with people on this I think it was called Tiny Chat. Was this video conferencing thing? It wasn't Skype. It was before I had like an actual normal chat. It was this kind of temporary start a room and talk with people thing. But at some point I wanted to just reply to stuff by posting a video clip of Rainbow Dash going so awesome in that early episode. And no one had uploaded a clip of just that. So I had some editing software on my computer from something I was doing in high school, just a filmmaking class they had, and actually no, I did like a couple of other projects with that as well. Anyway, so I cropped that, and then that was the first. I created an account to upload that on, so that I could quickly link to it. And then from there, I had a couple of other little clips, and then I thought, okay, hey, these people are making PMVs. This, the timing on this one isn't great. I feel like I could do better. For some reason, I had this sort of competitive mindset with a little bit of that stuff, but I think it was all in the interest of improving my skills and improving the sort of quality of some of the things that stuff that was out there. So I started making these PMVs of just TV theme songs and stuff that I thought, hey, that'd go well with this clip from the show, this other clip of the show. And then there was eventually too many seasons and too much footage for me to memorize all of it, and so I kind of stopped making those. When I did one based on the Ultimate Showdown of Ultimate Destiny, which was a big Flash animation from a few years before, and I lined that up. I think I had 2 clips from every season 1 episode in there, and that was the sort of like, I want to have good, thorough representation of all the episodes that have come out, and then you get like 4 seasons in, and that's not really viable anymore. So that's sort of phased out. And then I just kept wanting to make mostly things to entertain friends of mine. So I would record goofy covers. I started taking some singing lessons and wanted to try and wanted a good excuse to practice those skills a bit. So that's where the BronyMike covers came from. Was just I like these songs. I want there to be more of these songs in some form. So I'll just kind of do my own version. Just a lot of them is okay. I'll just take the instrumental and sing over it. I always credit people. I always make sure to label who the original musician is and link back to the original song. But that wound up being a lot of it was those covers.
Yeah, and they're great. I love listening to, every single one is unique, and it's just like, oh man, what is he going to use this time? What instrument, we'll use for this thing, and all that type of thing. They're great.
Yeah. And so a lot of it was, a lot of it is me trying to goof around with friends and entertain them. We would hang out in Skype or in TeamSpeak for just pretty much all day. I would hang in there, and some friends would join. Maybe we'd read fanfics to each other and do goofy voices with that, and some of those voices might inspire me to do some silly voices on a cover or two. Or maybe I get in sort of in my head too much about, okay, am I getting shoehorned into this silly spot? So maybe I'll try and do like a more kind of calm and genuine attempt at a nice cover of something. And that's where the variety comes from. And I didn't really care how many people followed it. I didn't really advertise this stuff much. It's nice if it gets posted on Equestria Daily or any pony site. It's nice if the word gets out, but it's mostly you should make stuff that you yourself would want to listen to and watch, and that's always been my philosophy is make stuff for yourself first, and if it's entertaining, then hopefully people will listen to it and enjoy it.
Oh, that's a nice way of thinking about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, totally agree. So you were saying that a lot of your covers in your videos was, a lot of what you had made and done, but I also want to ask about some other things that you had done and started as well. Like, personally, Trixie eating pinecones is probably one of my favorite pony memes ever. Like, just being serious. I mean, it's just, it's so bizarre and yet so like funny. It's just like, but it captures just like, I don't know, just like the kind of zaniness perfectly. So I know that like on you have a Tumblr blog which is still up, which has a lot of the art from that was produced from about the meme and stuff like that. But and there's like a couple of pages that kind of talk about its origins. But could you also talk about how it kind of came to be?
So yeah, so I was tuning in on a couple of just artist streams, and they were taking requests. And a lot of people had this sort of animosity towards Trixie in the early seasons. She was this arrogant character. People wanted to see bad stuff happen to her. And so I was thinking, okay, what's something that's unpleasant but not like too mean? And so I wanted them to draw Trixie trying to eat a pine cone, I guess. And then they drew it, did a good job drawing it. A lot of people read into that as like, oh, this guy really likes looking at pictures of Trixie eating these pine cones. Oh, what's going on with that? But no, it wasn't anything strange, like whatever you might be thinking. It's just, okay, everyone who's drawn this has come at it with their own idea. Maybe she's like baked it into a cake or something. I don't know. Maybe she's like being forced to. Maybe she really likes eating. Who knows? Everyone I asked like came up with their own sort of. It's fun seeing ideas iterated on in every artist's style and giving them just sort of a weird, strange scenario, but you can go at it and do whatever you want with it. And so I eventually just kind of kept asking every musician or what am I saying? Every artist I came across to do that, and they kept doing it, and so I started scanning and uploading them.
That's amazing.
One of the I mentioned Laser Pony a while back. There was someone with a big, like a whole bunch of laser projection technology stuff that did a couple of Brony concerts back in the day, and that person. I think they drew it live at BronyCon, just at their booth, and projected it up on the wall. Some drawing of Trixie eating a pine cone. It might have been a trace of another piece of art, but there, it's been done in multiple mediums now. Mm-hmm. It was done with lasers. That's cool.
That's sick. Yeah, I remember a long time ago, like coming across those, like, oh, this is really cool. And there's only like a couple of videos and stuff like that left, but that's awesome that he also did that too. I live out in sort of the Vancouver area, Pacific Northwest, so it's all these coniferous trees, and so I guess just okay. Let's see. My place at the time was right next to a forest. So I guess I just had like pine cones on the brain as this thing. I don't know why that was what latched on there, but I just decided to keep it going. And then at some point it became its own thing a little bit, and people started like putting it into fanfics and stuff, which was fun. That's cool. Like it grew more than just like the drawn images and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
cool. So okay, well, thank you for explaining that. That's really awesome. That's just how just came to be in that way. I also
question the great and powerful Trixie when she's eating pine cones.
She knows what she's doing. What am I? I don't know. I don't know what she's doing, but she does.
I also, now that I remember, actually at Everfree Northwest this year, I got there were some artists in the vendor hall that were taking commissions and stuff like that for and I actually had one of the artists there draw Trixie eating a pine cone, because I'm just like, oh, that's a good I should do that. So I'll have to take a picture of it and show you later.
Yeah, if anyone's got new pictures, I think BronyMike at derpymail.org is still a valid email address that redirects to me.
Awesome.
That's cool.
Send them over, or actually the blog itself probably has a submit option. I don't think I've gotten any submissions in the last few years, but I'm on board with keeping it updated.
Yeah, definitely. I'll make sure to then.
Make sure to let me know who the artist is so I can credit properly if
of course,
if you know.
Yeah, definitely. I have like stuff circled and stuff like that on the brochure they kind of give you. But also, I also wanted to talk about that you had auditioned for Friendship is Witchcraft back in the day as well, and also like gotten a part. Could you tell us like how that kind of came about?
Well, yeah. So they hosted some auditions for a couple of characters, because I think it was just. Jenny and Griffin were the creators of that, and they wanted to get a bit more of the fandom involved, wanted to get some more voices in there, and the big thing was there were auditions for Scootaloo at the time, and I'm a dude and I got a fairly low voice, but hang on, let me break everyone's ears for a second here. And surprisingly often covered in tree sap. Hammer. Those are kind of for some reason I've got like anchor phrases if I try to do some voices. I think that's what a lot of voice actors do. I don't know if anchor phrase is a term, but if I ever got to get into a Scootaloo-ish voice, then I do that. and I auditioned, and I think I could do it better back then, because I wasn't in my 30s back then, but but apparently I got in like second place after an actual girl who could do the voice.
Wow, that's pretty good. Wow.
Not bad.
Yeah, and so they followed up and were like, hey, well, you didn't do it. We liked your auditions, so you want to do some background voices? And so I wound up recording a couple of background lines. I think you can hear me doing snips and snails impressions in the background of a classroom shot. And then
Cool.
and then their original voice for Mayor I don't know, couldn't continue the role or something. And so they just reached out to me to do some version of the Mayor of Ponyville. And I did that for like, was it 2 episodes? I think I was only in 1 episode for that. But I can still claim that I've been in Friendship is Witchcraft, that I think is a pretty fun fun thing to fun mark to have made on the fandom.
Definitely.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you still do the impressions pretty well too. Yeah, I was just like, oh dang, like still got it.
Oh yeah, I'm still to this day just doing silly voices with friends a few times a week. I've been getting through my like Steam game backlog, and so I put those on with my buddies. And anytime there's dialogue, me and my friend will just do all the voices and come up with stuff. And a lot of it's like, oh, but Bobby, what are you doing? Like we'll do like King of the Hill voices or some random nonsense. A bunch of weird kind of YouTube poop meme stuff. But yeah, I've always wanted to get into voice acting, and just haven't had a lot of good chances to put the effort in, because I've been more focused on less artistic but more stable sort of career options. I don't really want to make a living off of my hobbies necessarily. I don't want to have to worry about money and stuff while doing this sort of thing, which isn't great for productivity, but it is good for just making stuff that you enjoy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, know what you're talking about there. Yeah. And you said that also you like when you were doing more voice acting stuff. I had seen that there was a how do you call it, a project that was trying to be made at the time called Flim and Flam Make It Big, and I saw that you had been cast as a role in that. Is there what was going on with that as well?
I think Flim is the higher voiced one. Hey brother, yeah, sure, yeah, is that sort of character. Yeah, I got that role, and there have been probably hundreds at this point of fandom projects that have gotten hit the ground running and then just didn't really wind up going anywhere after a while. Yeah, they just kind of fizzle out. But it's I'm glad that there is this much creative energy in Bronydom, or at least at that time there was so much stuff going on and so much effort being put into these things. I don't remember a lot of details about it. They were going to have a couple of musical numbers. I don't remember if any of them got recorded or even fully written, but they were going to try and do a full animated special about these two characters.
Gotcha. Was it kind of like they were trying to make a pony episode about them, kind of like how Double Rainboom did their thing, and then they were going to try and do one centered around Flim and Flam?
It was something like that. Yeah, I don't think it was going to be as elaborate as Double Rainboom was. It was more. It might have just been a sort of storyboard. Draw a couple of frames here and there, go along with the voices, which that's a good way to cut down on the production requirements. There were a few other voice projects that I auditioned for over the years. There was some sort of like, dub this fanfic. We need like a male voice for Rainbow Dash kind of thing, and I applied to a whole bunch of things, but not a lot of them wound up becoming finished projects.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's like a lot of motivation, a lot of wouldn't this be cool? Want to do it, but getting it to the finish line is very very difficult to do type of thing. So.
Oh yeah.
So Dieter. Oh
yes.
Ducks. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. So in terms of uploads, we already talked about your covers, but I can see that you're very musical. Do you have some kind of special musical background?
Well, so through childhood, I took piano lessons, but that was kind of begrudgingly. I didn't really want to. I took so I can read sheet music. I can't read it very fast or particularly well, and I'm not good at harmonies, and I can't really play any other instruments. Well, I say that while being surrounded with weird. So I went more for the zany sort of entertaining side of things. I took singing lessons while I was in university for a couple of years there, and that's while I was doing my my Brony covers of stuff, and a lot of that came from me playing rock band with friends after school in high school. We would get together at my buddy's place who had the plastic drum and the guitars and stuff and the microphone, and so I'd always hop on the mic. I would always be the singer, and half the time it was me just genuinely trying to do the songs and improve my vocal skill. I've always wanted to be a good singer, to be able to perform kind of an operatic thing or do whatever. But then half the other time it was just me like goofing around, like into the lyric, into the microphone, trying to entertain my friends and make them, distract them while they're playing, make them laugh. And so that's sort of both sides of it, and what sparked my interest in singing was all of that stuff. Where are we here? I don't have much more of a musical background, and that's why most of my songs are just vocal covers of people's stuff. And I try to make up for that by doing entertaining enough stuff that it doesn't feel like I'm just remaking their own song.
Right, and just
Now I wanted to move on to the next question, but if you had something else to say.
I was gonna say that. Well, actually, never mind. Just keep going.
I'm done with my part.
Okay, then.
Actually, if we're already in a break, I might top up on my water already.
Shall we continue?
Well, my name's BronyMike. I don't know why I was named that. It was because I was born several years before bronies were a thing. Anyway, all right.
Yeah. It's actually on your birth certificate.
Exactly, yeah. Right here under species, they wrote horse.
It's amazing.
Okay, moving on with the questions. So, you do a lot of singing, but you also play other instruments, and seeing some of your songs, I have to ask, where does the kazoo madness come from?
Yeah, so that goes back to high school as well, the rock band era. I was always a theater kid, sort of acting and directing and stuff. And theater kids are usually, from my experience, are usually friends with the band kids, all the actual musicians. And so me and my buddies would sort of, after school, sometimes we would loiter at this music store and just check out the instruments and look at stuff. But we would rarely buy anything. And so one day I felt a little bad about that, and I decided, okay, hey, there's kazoos here. I'll check it out. And then I bought it, went outside, opened it up, tried to figure out what I was doing with it. I couldn't figure it out. Went into the store, asked the guy at the counter, and he said he had no idea how to play the thing. And then eventually I realized, okay, you're not supposed to blow into it. That doesn't do anything. People say that you're supposed to hum into it. but like if you hum in like my definition of hum is it's all coming out the nose, and that you can't get a kazoo sound out of that. But you're supposed to you're just talking to it, and then you're supposed to talk with it. Yeah, you can just speak into it, and that's how you actually get the sound out of it. Anyway,
incredible instrument.
Oh, it's like I've genuinely gotten I genuinely think it is a good instrument that you can do good stuff with. Like it's I do stupid stuff with it, but you can get a good sound out of it. You can get a few different varying ideas out of it. Welcome to My Little Tony Burgers. What can I take your order? Like, I'm mostly doing goofy voice bits with friends, but it's a direct line from singing well to playing kazoo well, because it's just whatever note you're playing goes into the kazoo, and so that's what I latched onto. I bought this thing, and then next time we were doing Rock Band, I was just like doing the notes into the microphone with this thing. And then from there, it sort of spread to, okay, well, these guys also have slide whistles on sale, so I got to buy one of those. And you can do some funky stuff with that. Right? Yeah, there's like unexplored avenues with these instruments. And then all that's just me going. And so then I just kind of kept on the lookout for strange instruments. I got a stylophone, which I haven't made much use of. Wait, turn on the vibrato. I could keep going down the list. I don't know how much time we got, but it turned into me just going to the dollar store and looking for what could be an instrument, what would be a fun instrument to have. I was on the lookout for a while for these. There's like a really lousy, cheap. Oh, your kid can sing into a microphone and it echoes a little bit, so they can feel like they're a rock star. And it sounds terrible. It's just like this kind of echoey thing. I don't know if it's even coming across.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
It is.
Yeah, but then after doing covers for a while, my friend got me this thing called I think it's Thundermaker? Might be what it's called? Something like that, where it's got this big metal coil on the bottom and you can rattle it and it goes like this. And it's kind of neat. But I figured out that you can talk into it and you get a much cleaner echo effect. It's like I'm in a cave, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah. So anytime I'm recording stuff, I don't have the musical know-how to do any sort of fancy effects. Most of it's just me, like, okay, I need a distortion effect. My name is Pony. Like, I'll just speak into the kazoo for a minute.
It's great.
It's all practical
that works
effects.
too.
Right, a bunch of experimentation with like all these different, musical instruments that you've, accumulated and stuff like that over the years. That's really cool.
Yeah, and then sometimes you get a dud. Like I got this little xylophone that. Wait. The notes are not on any sort of musical scale. And hey, 4EverfreeBrony, can you give me a number from 1 to 8?
2.
2. God, it's so bad. Like it's just this really bad pitchy piano I paid like $2 for. Anyway, so that's, I don't know if that answers it. I think that they're legitimately sort of underappreciated instruments. Mm-hmm. All these silly little things. I want to share that.
I think personally that Tibetan singing bowl would be right up your alley.
My big goal was always I wanted to have a concertina, but I never put in the effort to actually like practice it once I did get one. But I can. So I've got this now. After I finally got a job.
Very nice.
And then in the end, you threw it all together and made some like songs exclusively with these wacky instruments, right? Like the parody with Pinky song.
Yeah, exactly. It was sort of okay. I don't have the production skills, but if I just keep adding more stuff to it, then maybe someone will think it's listenable.
Oh, it's awesome, dude. I love the parody so much.
Same.
Yeah, and a lot of that, you know, I've always enjoyed Weird Al Yankovic. He always had his polka medleys of popular songs for each era. A good song is called "Angry White Boy Polka," where it's all like angsty songs from the '90s. And a lot of that stuff inspired this sort of wacky party covers as
You're
well.
just taking it to the next level.
Yeah, and then every time I do those, I find a way to solo where I just kind of have a bunch of unrelated songs that I play in the background that overlap with each other. I don't know if all those have been like discovered in these songs, but it's sort of this cacophonous mashup of different meme songs from the fandom or just unrelated things. At some point, I think the first vocal thing I did was Pinkazoid, which was based on someone. It was another like. This puts me in a bad light, but it was almost a spiteful thing where someone recorded a song that was in like some image, and I was like, you know, we could probably get a better version of this out there. So then I recorded it. I think I linked to the one that inspired it though. And it was a Pinkie Pie based version of the intro to the TV show Freakazoid. And I sang that at a couple of conventions too. But where was I going with that? Anywhere? No, not really. I don't know. Just another thing that I did, I guess. Yeah. So then I recorded that, and I was like, I like singing this stuff. I should just record more vocal covers of stuff, and sometimes get into. Oh yeah, right. That was it. Because the Freakazoid theme was one of the songs that was in the background of, I think, either Wacky Factory or Party with Pinky, or there was also Silly's Big Race, I think, which is based on Sweetie's Big Race, which was a song from one of the Friendship is Witchcraft episodes.
Well, that's
the one where it was Sweetie Bot, like the robot version of Sweetie Belle voice, singing this song about racing, and it was mostly this kind of monotone, "We are racing very fast," like kind of thing. And I didn't want to just do that, so that I turned that into one of the more well-rounded. Actually, no. I think the problem is that I couldn't find an instrumental of that song, so that's why I turned it into my own thing.
Myself.
Oh, you're
But
good.
what is that instrument where you do like the boing thing of? Yeah.
That one is called mouth harp, jaw harp.
Oh, okay,
are
gotcha.
the two main names for it these days. There was a what's this other one? Yeah, there was a convention I went to. I think it was a concert at PAX one year or something, where the musician had these giant buckets of these things where you blow in it, and it goes, wait. And I took like weeks to try and like research what is the thing where you blow in it and it goes woo.
I was looking at that for years.
It's hard to figure out. It's called a siren whistle. Is the name.
Yes. Like I think it's also called an Acme whistle or something like that.
I could see that. Yeah, it's like maybe okay. Imagine this. Old Looney Tunes cartoon. A guy's hand cranking a car because it's like the 1930s. And then the car like takes off.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is all like how you make these little sound effects, and so that was part of it too. Was I was hanging out with friends doing these fanfics, and so then if something Wild Happens, I could go like, you know, oh no, the train's coming by. Like,
I want to ask too, what programs did you use to create your songs? Was it like a DAW or like Audacity or something?
it's all I think I've only ever used Audacity for
amazing.
everything. Yeah, I think a couple of times I tried to figure out how FL Studio or Fruity Loops at the time worked, and I couldn't really wrap my head around some of it. I think I was able to get part of a drum loop going one time, but then like 5 windows would pop up with fake pedals and something, and I couldn't figure out what to do with them. You know, hand programming notes on the piano roll was so much slower than just going, you know. So it and you know, so since all I had was kind of this vocal skill and these physical things, I would just record them on microphone and do a little bit of like add a compression thing here, add some reverb here, cut this part of this voice recording from this take and move it over to this other one, so that I've got like the best mashups of them. So just sort of general, you know, audio vocal mixing stuff, but I never knew much about the production side of any of that stuff. I wouldn't mind getting better at some of that stuff, but you know,
yes,
but that's where it was.
Right, mad respect for, you know, repping Audacity and just doing it in there. That's super cool.
Honestly, all you need sometimes.
Okay, here I now got some questions about musical collaborations that you were involved in. One notable appearance of yours is on the Pony Swag Syndicate. Can you tell us how this came about and how it was to participate in that?
Yeah, so there was a song, Pony Swag, by Swagberg, who I think has split off, done a couple of things since then under different names. And then someone named I Bring the Lulls held this big open call for anybody who wanted to. They could write a verse for this song, and they could submit it, and I think... I don't know if they all made it in, but I think most of them did. I think most of the submissions wound up getting put into the song. It was an early appearance of Mike the Mike and a bunch of other singers at the time. Yeah, and so I just recorded something. I wrote it. I've always had a pretty good knack for vocal, you know, rhythm with like writing down words and getting the stresses on the words to match up properly to the beat. So I feel like, and I've also, so many people had rhymed magic with tragic in so many MLP songs by then. I wanted to try and come up with some more unique rhymes, and so I think I had Celestia rhymed with impressed ya. It rhymed with get the best of ya. Yeah. It's Twilight Sparkle rhymed with metacarpals for some reason. So yeah, it was just a fun challenge, I guess. You know, that's I was going to school for programming, and so that's got sort of a puzzle solving aspect to it when you're trying to figure out what to do for this sort of thing, and that's sort of my approach to writing lyrics as well. Is okay, I want to do, you know, I want a specific sort of goal in mind. I want a specific kind of challenge. Okay, Rhyme Zone is telling me there aren't any rhymes for this word. I'm gonna find out how to make one. And then over the years, there were a lot of other. There were so many attempts to make a Pony Swag 2, like some sort of follow-up thing. And I don't think any of them ever actually came out. I wrote and submitted lyrics to a few other. We're finally doing another Pony Swag Mega Mix. It's, you know, we've written our own song, or like, oh, we're just gonna use the original instrumental. None of them came out. there were like 3 or 4 different attempts at that. I helped a friend write some lyrics. That didn't go anywhere. But
I think one might have come out a few years ago.
Mm.
So we're 2020, maybe 2021, but...
Whoa! Okay, well, Well,
I'll
if
have
I
to
was
check
on
it.
that one, then let me know.
Oh, could you imagine if that was the case? That would be awesome.
It could have been they found some old archived submission of mine. You know, it was the same person. Oh, finally, after like 8 years, I'm well. Actually, I'm not one to talk about taking forever to continue musical projects.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
Okay, going back to I bring the lols real quick. How did the word get around? Did he make a YouTube video? Was it on EQD or something?
I think it was Equestria Daily. I think there was just a post. Hey, we're planning on doing this big version of Pony Swag. Anyone who wants to submit, here's where you put it. I think it was that. It was either no, because there were a few Brony musician sort of Skype groups that came a little bit later. But I don't think it was in there. I think it was just an open thing that was posted on EQD. It might have been at the bottom of a roundup post or some sort of smaller profile thing. But I think it was just some, anyone could submit.
And basically the same thing for the Remix Wars, which was another big fandom project. How did you get involved in that?
Well, so I actually forgot what that was, and then I looked it back up. I think it was just it was not an organized thing. It was just, hey, people are covering each other's songs. Let's call it Remix Wars, where, okay, I'll do your song, but in my style. And I don't think there was any sort of structure to it, from what I remember. I think it was just, this person remixes this. Whoa, cool. And it was just this big collaboration sort of thing where musicians could practice each other's skills or, like, pay tribute to each other. And so Rainbow Factory was a fun song, and that's where I decided to do my own version of it, mostly because I wanted to get some use out of the just piles of quote unquote instruments that I've got at my desk here, and I wrote a note about this, but I forgot to mention it. I have since learned that I can just kind of do a kazoo with my mouth.
Wow.
I think I'm the only person I've ever met who's like who's done that particular sound. I'm sure someone somewhere has done it, and maybe it doesn't sound as it's this sort of nasally toothy thing that and I don't know if it even sounds the way that I think it does, but usually if I do that, people are like, "What the hell? what was that? What the heck?"
It's pretty kazooey.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Also, Banjo-Kazooie, great game. not related, but I like playing
Just
it.
putting it out there.
Yeah, shout out.
Just putting it up. I don't have a banjo. I also don't have a ukulele, which was the guys from Banjo-Kazooie later went on to make that. That's unrelated. This is all unrelated.
Okay.
You told me you'd help me keep it on track.
Oh, and I wanted to mention too that there was a new Remix Wars that released, I think it was 2 years ago now, Remix Wars 10. So that that had a new entry just recently. So I just kind of wanted to throw that out there as well in case you're interested in just checking it out. Yeah.
Maybe there was more structure to it than I thought. I thought it was just maybe there were okay, this person's been matched up with this person. I don't know if anyone ever remix warred something of mine, because I don't think I have enough original songs to warrant that.
Well,
but yeah, I think that first one was just, okay, upload a video, call it Remix Wars if you want to be part of this thing.
Yeah, I think that was basically it. Just people, it's kind of a free for all. People covering each other, and then you're going to be on the on one of the Remix Wars editions. I think yours was on the 4th, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So the next topic, another project of yours back in the day, was this thing called Randy Newmane, and I think this needs a little bit of an explanation. Yeah, so tell me what this is.
So there was a comedy duo called Paul and Storm. I think they're still around, and they don't really perform concerts a lot these days. But they were usually the opening act for a guy named Jonathan Colton, who did the end theme for Portal 2, Left 4 Dead, and a couple of other interesting kind of acoustic guitar songs. These guys were a bit zanier, a bit more crude, but they had this goofy song that they pretended, or that they made, that was called Randy Newman's theme from Seabiscuit. Randy Newman is he's mostly known for the "You Got a Friend in Me" kind of guy. He did the soundtrack for Toy Story. Very talented musician. Did the soundtrack for Princess and the Frog, and then his own original songs are some impressive. There's some really nice stuff in there beyond the goofier sounding stuff. And so they were honing in on his sort of more dopey image he had at the time. You may remember there was an episode of Family Guy where everything got nuked and the only guy left was Randy Newman, and he was just commentating everything on his piano, and everybody just kind of ignored him and walked away. But Paul and Storm's thing was that they did Randy Newman's theme from Seabiscuit, and then they did Randy Newman's theme from Passion of the Christ. And they just kind of went off the rails. Eventually, they did an album called 25 Days of Newman, which was the same song, the same instrumental, just with different lyrics for 25 days, for all of December. The final song on that album was a completely different composition, but then they had a bonus track on there of just the instrumental, which to me indicated, okay, we want other people to do their own covers of stuff. And so, right up my alley. Okay, it's only lyrics and singing. So I can hop into it. And I started doing lyrics. Again, it's that lyrical challenge thing I was talking about. Is, okay, I got to challenge myself. I'm going to write lyrics for every episode of Friendship is Magic. And so I did it for season 1, and then I did it for season 2, and then I did it for season 3, and then I graduated and got a full-time programming job, and sort of fell off the face of the earth. And I had stuff written for. I like poked away at the rest of the show for a while, and I kept watching as Friendship is Magic kept coming out. But I never recorded anything more for it. I wanted to eventually catch up, but it just didn't really happen. But yeah, it was just this goofy thing. And then I would go to conventions. At the concerts, I would put on a big curly wig to look at like what I thought Randy Newman looked like. I figured out how to actually play it on piano. Probably couldn't do it right now, but. Then I would just ask the audience, hey, give me an episode name from seasons 1 to 3, and then I'd look it up on the list and I'd sing it, and it was a fun sort of crowd participation thing.
That's super cool. You can really get the crowd, like you say, crowd participation going, and be like, hey, yeah, which one do you guys want now? And just listen to the lyrics and see what's different. That's cool.
Yeah, and then as a fun bonus, I would usually write a quick one about whatever convention I was at. I've got some that if you look up some of the old recordings of Brony Palooza and Pony Stock, the concerts from I don't know 2012 to 2015 or so. I don't know exactly when my last one was. Then you might hear some unreleased ones of just like, oh, here's a song about Everfree Northwest. Here's a song about the Brony fandom in general, stuff like that.
Okay, and that nicely brings us actually to the current day, because you only made these up to season 3, but I didn't know this at the time that I contacted you for this interview, but you, or rather you and 4EverfreeBrony, have actually been working on a new project. So, yeah, apparently Randy Newman season 4 is going to be a thing, and so this is for 4EverfreeBrony. You came up with the idea to continue this series. So how did that happen?
So it kind of became a tradition at one point. At like any conventions where, you know, the people who knew about it, you know, if you know, you know, who knew about the Randy Newmane thing, we would just sit down and listen to them or play them, you know, play guitar or piano or whatever, and then look up the lyrics on the Bandcamp page. And, you know, it was just always a genuine good time, and everybody always enjoyed it. And so I was just like, you know what? Just this past year, it was at, I think, I'm gonna say HarmonyCon, or maybe it was probably at Cider Fest when I made the decision. I was like, you know what? Let's actually finish this. Let's continue the series, and like we're gonna actually, you know, I you know, gathered a group of people who knew about it, and it was mainly, you know, me and Luna Jax, and I mean, he was the one who showed it to me. He was the one who showed me the Randy Newmane thing, and then and so I asked him to sing the first one that we wrote, and then I gathered a bunch of other people like Melody Brony and Thrak and Evershade and Jesh, and, you know, just a bunch of other people. There's loads of people who are participating in the project because, you know, they liked it, and they're musician friends who you know, could definitely help contribute. And so we decided to have a goal at the end of the year that we'd have this thing all done, and we actually are really close to accomplishing it. So yeah, we just figured it's such a delight. This thing really has to go on. The show must go on, you know. that's kind of,
you cannot just stop at season 3.
Yeah, you can't just stop. You can't just
I
stop.
had no idea this was going on. I went to, I just attended Everfree Northwest in 2019. I just went there to hang out for a little bit. I wasn't performing or anything, but it got me a bit more back into the Brony mood. And I wrote lyrics for most of season 4 and a bit of season 5. And then it sort of fell off again because I got too busy with personal stuff. And so I had no idea any of this stuff was happening. I was just like streaming some Steam game or something on Twitch to zero. My usual audience is 0 viewers, and then somebody came in there. It was someone by the name of Mr. Someone who had recently joined the Randy Newmane Presents channel and was like, "Are you BronyMike?" And I was, yeah. You know, I'm just streaming under the name Mike O'Shea these days, which was my name pre-Pony stuff, and it's sort of my name that I go by for stuff outside of Brony things, and then I figured out, okay, there's this big, you know, resurrection project of this Randy Newmane, you know, thing that I'd been working on that I wasn't sure if anyone had really been listening to or cared that much about. But no, apparently a bunch of people enjoyed them, and it's become more of a thing. And I went in there and I sort of upset the whole thing by telling people, okay, cool, hey, here's the lyrics that I made. Oh, whoops, you guys already have all your own lyrics. Well, keep writing those ones. Oh, yes, you've got part of some artwork in.
But first, you'll need to unlock your device.
Google, I'm not unlocking my device. What was that about? Okay, phone's on the other side of the room. Anyway, yeah, and so I stepped in there with a couple of tips about some sort of patterns and structures of each of the songs and things that I thought we should stick to. Like each of the album covers is based on a different Randy Newman album. And I listened, and, you know, people were doing good lyrics. They all had a little bit of their own sort of take on what Randy sounds like.
Yeah, none of us sound the same. We have probably, I'm gonna say, maybe 6 7 or 8 different vocalists who have all sung a verse, who have all sung one of the songs, and none of us do it the same. We all follow the same structure in like lyrics and probably timing and whatever, but our tones are all our tones are not our natural tones, but still our interpretation of Randy is completely, we're all very, very different from each other. But
everyone has a bit of themselves in it. Yeah.
Right.
So now
right.
I need to ask, are you actually on the album, Mike?
Yeah, so I wasn't originally. Everyone had already called. We have a spreadsheet in it, and there's a section called vocal dibs where people can just be like, "Hey, I want to do this song," and so all of them had been claimed by the time I joined. But I had lyrics that I had performed one time, I think, like a month after Equestria Girls came out. I wrote lyrics for it, and then performed it at might have been BronyCon that year. And I realized, okay, I've never actually released this. Hey, can I put this can I be on this thing? As like a bonus track? It's supposed to be this collaboration of these other musicians who are contributing their own songwriting and lyrics and recording to it. But I figured I would sort of sit on the sidelines and I would be the bonus track guy.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm going to be on there doing a song about Equestria Girls. I revised the lyrics a little bit from what I'd originally written, but it'll be fun.
Yeah, he's on that one, and also just one extra one that we decided to put on there as well. It's the one that you made
right.
for the trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, by the time this comes out, the trailer should be out, where it's sort of me passing the torch, I guess, to these other musicians, and we're slapping that one on the album too, because why not? Everybody likes bonus features.
It's true.
Okay. Yeah, so your last upload was from 2015, which is by now more than 8 years ago. Are there any... Yeah, I know, long time. Are there any videos or songs or other things that you were working on that never got to see the light of day, or something that you wish you had created or finished?
Well, so... I don't know. I've wanted to get back into singing a bit. Frankly... COVID was pretty good for me because it started it started a trend of people being able to work from home more often, and I can't just go into an office and start going doing vocal warm-ups and like practicing and stuff. And so now if I'm sitting around, I can actually try and get back into vocal shape, and I'm still not quite to the level of talent. I don't know, whatever I was at before, but I'd like to try and get back into singing. If anyone wants to collaborate on something and is cool with me either just doing zany instruments or vocals or writing lyrics, I'm always open for that. I'd love to be a part of some stuff. And awesome. I have tracked down my like 9-year-old list of Brony songs to cover, which has like 150 things in it.
Wow.
a whole lot of is ranging from songs from the show, fandom songs, weird meme stuff, a couple of like YTPMV type like audio clip mashups that should not be covered under any circumstances.
Still be cool.
That is a long list.
It's nuts, and it only goes up to like when I started getting more busy. I didn't. I eventually stopped keeping up with every single Equestria Daily post, and that's when. So this list only goes up to like 2015 probably. Man, Stop the Bats is number 105. What am I doing? I've got listed in here 99 buckets of oats full. Oh God. Where
The
where at
complete
some point-
version.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's ever done a full cover of 99 Buckets of Oats on the Wall, that one song that Sweetie Belle sang one time at a campfire.
Yeah,
And the world needs to hear it.
absolutely.
Incredible.
Gosh.
Boy. So and that sort of groan is what I live for here. So so hopefully one of these days I'll get into the habit again and be able to release some stuff. But don't necessarily hold your breath. I'd like to do covers outside of pony stuff too. Maybe some like anime themes or I don't know, just other songs from other musical shows. Steven Universe was good. There's a lot of good songs in Centaur World, which is a very strange show. But
It is really weird.
it's a really weird show, but it has phenomenal music. It has like
does.
award-winning Broadway singers in it. And more people got to cover
True,
it.
though.
Over the Garden Wall's got
though.
some good songs. And so I'd like to branch out at some point, but the BronyMike account will always just be the pony stuff. So if I put anything up related to the fandom, it'll go there.
Cool. Yeah, you definitely have your work cut out for you. Now, going back to the stuff that you actually did make, what's the work that you're most proud of or happy to have completed?
It's probably the song "Parts of the Pony." That one was just inspired by an image I saw that was like a biological kind of diagram of the parts of a horse, but over top of an MLP style pony. And I took that and I made sort of an Animaniacs style informational, educational song about it. Now colts and fillies of every pony kind. Here's a song about you from your front to your hind. I don't even think I was that Yakko Warner sounding when I did it, but that was a lot of fun. I always had fun performing that one at conventions. I would always get somebody who had like an alicorn plushie so I could point out the wings and the horn when I performed it.
Who did the instruments for that?
Did I write it down? They're credited on the track. I do not remember. I do not have a great memory. Stormwolf was the aka yeah. There they are. Yeah. Stormwolf. So Stormwolf's second most recent song, BBBFF Stormwolf remix 10 years ago. Most recent song 2 years ago. So they had a bit of a reappearance as well.
Ooh.
Everybody's
Sometimes you see that. That's always fun.
It is always fun to have this sort of out of the blue, hey, I'm back kind of thing.
I'm getting to the nostalgia point.
Exactly.
You're still going.
I mean, hey, it's just because I still have the fuel, man.
It wouldn't
I
be
still have the
forever,
fuel, I
Free
got the
Brony,
time.
if you didn't go forever.
Funny story about that. Was the person who came up with my name, he thought that my music was going to be free forever. And I was like, no, not really.
That's funny.
It's very reasonable.
It is my career, so I try to make it work.
Nice. Awesome. Oh wait, whoops! I meant to mention a bunch of other random junk in the "What are you proud of" segment.
Go ahead.
Sure. Well, because I was I do like to brag that I was the first Brony that Ashley Ball ever met, the voice of Rainbow Dash and Applejack. That was like before season 1 had finished, before they were at any conventions and stuff. I also had an Ask blog where Fluttershy was a mob boss and did voices as the Flutterdon. It was like an audio blog thing. There weren't a lot of those. There were a couple of like voice only blogs like that. I was at one of the first planning meetings for Everfree Northwest, and I was the head of the Vancouver Bronies for a little while. Yeah, and then over my time in the fandom, I made a bunch of friends that are still friends today. So that's the most important thing is that it was a good way to get in touch with other folks who enjoy the same sort of thing, and those those friendships can last. It's very nice.
Taking you back to Ashley Ball real quick. How did you met her then? If it wasn't
So
at a con?
Yeah, so it wasn't pony related stuff. She performs in a band called Hey Ocean, and they were performing at the PNE, which is the Pacific National Exhibition in BC, and so I just walked up. I was with a couple of other Brony friends, but I was the first one to walk up, and I had like did I have like an Applejack figurine? I might have to get her to sign.
As you do.
Yeah, and so then her bandmates were like, "Whoa, they're real! Like, there's actually a fan of. Yo, check this out! Come over here!" Yeah, and everyone was like, "Yeah, dude, yeah, this show's it's a good show. She does a good job."
VAs and writers always tell the story of like the first time that they hear about bronies and that they don't believe that it's real, but you actually witnessed it.
Oh yeah.
Amazing.
Hey Ocean
And then
is an excellent
my other
band,
friend-
by the way.
What's that?
Hey Ocean is an excellent band, by the way.
Oh yeah, nice kind of chill
Such good.
vibes
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah, you were saying?
Oh, my friend was recording the latter half of that encounter on video, and I think like we were at the very tail end of this signing booth after the concert, and Ashley wanted to catch like another performer that was going on at the event, so she had to sort of cut off this video segment my friend wanted a little quick, but I think we got like a shout out for some sort of event, but I don't remember the specifics. It was way back.
Yeah, that's like mid 2011-ish.
Oh jeez,
I think it must have been. I don't know.
that sounds about right. Maybe 2010 still.
I wonder.
Show start.
2010 would be super early.
It started on 10/10/10.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, so
It was probably the following summer, or maybe spring sometime.
yeah, I saw for reference that your first video was somewhere at the start of May, and the season 1 finale was on, I think it was the 25th-ish. So yeah, slightly before the season 1 finale.
I remember theorizing with friends. Oh, they got this like through line going on here. They got the gala tickets, and then Rarity's making the outfits for it. I wonder if they're gonna like do a big episode of what happens at this gala. They should do like oh man, it'd be cool if they did like separate episodes to show what happened to each person. Oh man, and then it was a good episode. It was a fun season finale.
Oh, that's wild. Speculating about season 1.
Exactly.
And where can people find you nowadays if that's something that you want to share?
I sometimes stream on Twitch under, I think it's just twitch.tv/Mike O'Shea. I'm gonna be I usually play Steam games and just indie stuff, but I decided to route out a speed run for a game called Glittermitten Grove, which goes in some zany directions, and the run does feature me possibly playing kazoo or slide whistle in it. And I'm going to be part of a speedrun marathon this coming January at MagFest, which is a convention East Coast. It's all video game stuff, and they've got a little charity speedrunning event there called MagFast. I'll be playing on the Thursday of that event. But until then, just stay tuned on the BronyMike YouTube channel, in case I put anything out.
We've been staying tuned for years.
Yeah. But now I finally got some hope of getting back into vocal shape and recording stuff. Part of it's also I moved in like downtown in a city, and there's a really loud train that passes by about every 10 minutes. And so I was a little self-conscious, like, is my microphone even able to, like, can I record anything anymore? And so this Randy Newman project was really helpful because I was able to listen to a recording and realize, okay, this thing just doesn't even pick it up, even though it's going like so meant. I got a friend who moved into the same building and moved out because that thing was so loud. And no, apparently it's not even an issue on recording. So I've been sort of holding myself back. I guess I'll try to get back into it.
Cool. I got one final question, and it's off script. You seem to know quite a bit about pony anatomy, seeing your song Parts of the Pony, and I need to ask you which one you prefer, shorn fetlocks or unshorn fetlocks?
Probably shorn. I feel like unshorn fetlocks, you would have a lot of hair dragging on the ground and get dirty. That's also why I'm not crazy about people with like fox OCs with giant hair coming out of their ears. I just feel like it sound cottony or something.
Yeah, you couldn't hear anything like beyond that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
What's the deal? And then you look into like audio engineering, and people are outside getting really crisp audio with like this big hairy thing over the microphone, and I just don't understand how that works. But apparently it does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that's were all of the questions that I wanted to ask you. So thank you so much for having this interview with us. It was a real pleasure to talk to you, and I've learned so many fun things.
Yeah, thank you so much for getting in touch. Thanks Forever Free for setting up the Randy Newmane project, and you know, letting me be a part of it when I stumbled upon it.
You are welcome to be a part of it whenever you'd like. Seriously.
Awesome. So, just to close off, there's one more thing that I want to say, and that's go, BronyMike and Forever Free Brony, go! You're our friends. Okay, cool. Signing out here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it.
You my friend.